Yo, good morning and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, you haven't yet subscribed, let's get this out of the way. Come on, sort that out, smash the subscribe button, and we can all be friends and get on with the video. So today we have got some little bits of remedial work, should we say, and some little bit of extra stuff. So we've got a load of outside lights that need sorting out and changing, and also a little bit of a outside socket. So there's a lot of outdoors work, and when I'm standing here it is freezing, and when I'm here in the sun, whew, she is beautiful for a January. Channel. Turns out the tenant, he's not playing ball. Warranty work, should we say, for these lights, which have been an absolute nightmare. This customer is actually a subscriber, and I'd like to say he took note. Thanks for my tea. So as you can see, this is an amazing house, but we've got a problem. Would I be fitting these ground lights to any other job? The answer is no. So if you're new to this channel, I really appreciate you clicking on. Out of the millions and millions of other channels you could have chose, you chose my one. So thank you very much. And if you're enjoying this so far, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. The link is in the corner, and yeah, help the channel to grow and build this amazing electrical community that we've got. So one of the jobs is we're going to be getting rid of this, lifting it up with a bit of conduit and putting a security light on there. This security light on here has decided that it doesn't want to work anymore, so that's going to come down and be replaced. And then off the back of this Garagio, there's going to be a double socket, IP rated, coming off the back here. Now, very, very long time ago, we actually sorted out some power for this house. We've done loads of work for these clients here. And down in the bottom of the garden, there is a little garden room. But the power to it was exceptionally bad. So what we've ended up doing is we did a trench all the way down, so we've changed the consumer unit in there. We've also done a consumer unit in the garage, which we're going to go and have a look at right now. So in the garage, we have got our IP rated light, because remember, a long time ago, said board, we used to have an apprentice called Jack, and this was one of Jack's early jobs. And he did, in fairness to him, he did a wonderful job, did a really good job, nice and tidy, killed off a lot of the other stuff because the roof was leaking, there was loads of issues in here, and it was just being here to be made safe. So the roof's all been sorted now, there is no more water coming in. Hence the reason why Jack's then put the board on, got the light on, and now what we're going to have to do is right down the bottom end over there, there is going to be a control supply for the outside light. So yeah, there's a little bit to do, and I thought it'd be a nice little quick video for you guys to enjoy watching how we're going to go about doing it. So for the side, we're going to use a little 20 watt PIR floodlight, which will do the security aspect of what we're doing. And the one on the back is just a straight 20 watt PIR, non-PIR, nearly had me, a non-PIR that's going on the back. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get this first one done on the side. So we need to isolate the power off and make sure that I don't get electrocuted. Now, I think it's worthwhile pointing out that yes, I could be using a lock-off device to be on there. And yes, I could, but what's the point? There's no point doing it right here because I'm in complete control of this area every time. But it is a very important note to do. If you cannot see this board, you cannot see the location of somebody coming in and out, you must use a lock-off device, because trust me, it happens. People turn stuff on and you will be electrocuted and potentially lose your life. So we've just disconnected the cable from the junction box inside. So it's just a case now of bending this down so I can get to the screws, and hopefully we'll be able to use the same fixing points with a bit of luck. Try and do this one-handed. And that's one light done and dusted and ready for the bin. Okay, so we've now mounted up the new light in itself. And so all we need to do now is actually sort out all the actual settings on here, because you can adjust the lux and sensitivity and how long it stays on for. But we're going to get it all powered up back up and then go through all that in the daytime. So we've just done all the connections back into its weatherproof enclosure up there. So that's all sorted. So we'll now power it up and then we can do all the settings. So, like I say, it's nice to, obviously this garage isn't really used, is it, to be honest? Which is okay, it's just a bit of a dumping ground as usual. But there's a lot worse. And obviously now, as you can see, the light is illuminated, which is great. So we just need to do all the settings for it. And all it is, on the back of here, I'm not sure whether I can show you properly, but there is 3 little dials. And we just need to alter those to suit. And the client has the sensor actually facing towards the house, which is that way. So as soon as they come on, it activates this, and obviously it illuminates all of this like decking area. So we'll just set that up now. Okay, so it's all powered up. So that light is done. We've done the settings outside. So now turns my attention to getting the socket on, and then the garage stuff is all done. Now, you know when I said, it's okay, the roof's all been fixed. Well, the leak is back.
You are such an idiot.
The leak is back. I've just moved these boxes and there's about 10 tons of water on the top of there. So I need to tell the client that, yeah, your roof's leaking still. So that needs sorted. So the plan is that we're going to get the cable all run to the far end and then straight outside, obviously, for the IP rated, I think it's IP67 rated double socket, which is going to go on for the mower for the lawn. I would just like to point out that the client has heard about the reputation for having a tea, but then they've stepped up. I've got chocky wocky cakes, a little love heart, because obviously they love me. They think I'm amazing. But yeah, so if I am coming to do a job, take note, this is how you do it. Okay, so we're going to be looking at installing this now onto this end. Now, because of the level of water that potentially is coming into here, obviously needs to be sorted. What I've decided on doing is we're going to run it in armoured. So I've just chucked the armoured cable up right there for now. We are going to have to get this roof sorted because for obvious reasons. So we're going to bring that down, use some cleats, then come down to a low level, drill through down here, and then bring it back up into the socket. I think that's going to be the safest way, because if you can see here, there's a lot of water in this section. And I think by using the armoured, I think it will kill 2 birds in 1 stone. So obviously I've not originally planned for doing it this way. So I just got to go to the van and see what stuff I've got. So I found some glands, so we're okay with that, some weatherproof glands. I just need to see if I've got enough cleats to do the job. So fingers crossed, we'll jump into the van and have a little look. So it's usually here where I keep all the cleats and stuff. So yeah, I think we'll have enough in here. So we'll take this out. There'll be some there's mixed sizes and stuff in here. That's what I generally keep. But yeah, let's go and get this job done. So whenever doing armoured, especially like this, what I tend to find my preferred way of doing things is actually do the terminations first at this end, and then I can work from the board backwards, which is what we're going to do right now. It is very, very cold today. Very, very cold. Although it looks sunny, and it was a little bit warmer earlier on. But now, not so much inside this very, very damp garage. So with these glands and stuff, I'm going to show you a nice little way, and obviously it's cold today, nice little way of making sure that your shroud is 100% perfect every single time. Now it's a little bit the wrong way around for me with the camera, but tell you what, let's move on here. That's better, that feels a bit better. So, best way of doing these is get your shroud, screw it on like that, and you'll see a bit of a ridge appear. Grab your knife and then slice your way through. Make sure it's a nice clean cut. Push it all the way through, and that will go on like that. That will stretch it, take it off, and slide it back in reverse. There you go. Well, it just slides it on. The reason why I was struggling a little bit because the end's flared out on this. But yeah, that's the best way, nice and tight as you can see there. And that's the best way I found. If you know of a different way, let me know in the comments below. But that's the best way I do it. And then we'll get this terminated and all sorted. So let's get you on some time lapse.
Perfect.
Okay, so what we've done, a little slight, tiny change of plan. So we've got the armoured in, we're going to come around that side. Now we're earthing it from this end. And what I mean by that, so we've got our flying lead, so we're going to connect our armouring, earthing, at this end, which means I don't have to mess about with it down there. So obviously then, with all this, it means that your steel wide armoured is all connected via the earthing conductor, which is actually going to be that one. And then because we've got RCD protection here, we're going to put a 20 amp MCB in here and then run it through. So one thing to bear in mind, because as you can see, this is the top course of bricks, we're going to have to be very, very careful. So I'm probably going to bend that round and lower it down across here, and then it'll kick up over that and then go on and so off. So it's not going to be running completely flat all the way through, and that's fine. I've made peace with it. It is what it is. I mean, if you look at the state of the garage, you'll understand. So I'm going to get this all rattled in, get that cable running all the way across there, and then we'll jump through when we're at that end in the damp zone. Okay, so we've just run the cable round all the way along the top and then down to this end, just drilled it through, and we're now at the stage of mounting up the... hold on, I need to get me level before I forget. So we're now at the stage of actually installing the socket to the back of the wall. So we've come through here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that back up on itself, so it's got a swoop on there, so obviously any water that comes down, it'll actually then drop down that way rather than going tracking back in. Now, could have done a little bit of rear entry, but I find that if I can get the gland on the bottom of that, it'll be a better job. So I'll set you up on time lapse and we'll get this bit all sorted.
Perfect.
Okay, so as you can see, all done, dusted right now. We don't need to do anything else to it. I have noticed, as you can see, we've got a little bit of water, shocker, from that guttering that's knackered. So I'm probably going to sort that out anyway, but it's a good job. It's the right socket for the job. Okay, so we've now got our swoop in, the MCB in, 20 ampere, and she's run down and dropped in, so we're all ready. I was just discussing with the client about obviously all the situation that's going on in here, and it turns out that he's having thoughts about potential garden room here, and because he doesn't use the one at the end. So who knows, there might be another video on that. So one of the other jobs we've got to do, like I say, we've got to sort this light out here, which is that bad boy. So I'm just going to get on with that now. It's fairly simple. What we're going to do is take that off, bit of conduit, run it up to the top, and then put in the 20 watt non-PIR. So we'll get that set up and get that all off so we can get cracking. Okay, so yes, it's not exactly the prettiest, I give you that, but it's functional. So she's on With these lights, you've got a little button on the bottom so you can change the colour temperature on the outside. So you can have cool white, warm white and daylight. And yeah, they are, you know, it's on cool white. So it's functional light, does the job. Yeah, not the prettiest. In toying with having it in white, all the rest of it. But in fairness, client said they'd rather have everything in black because they've got black on the windows and all the rest of it. So I get it, you know, customer's right, that's what he wants. So socket is done. So we're just gonna do a little bit of a testing procedure on that. So we're gonna get the ZS on there. Yeah, so pretty much sorted. So we're gonna get our tester from the van. We're gonna get that sorted and we'll go and do the ZS test, won't we? And make sure it's all right. Because if not, be a problem, wouldn't it? So I've just spoken to Sean a second ago. Don't know why I've gone all Yorkshire or wherever the hell that accent is. So just spoken to Sean a second ago, and he was just saying on one of our jobs, he said the scaffolders have took down the scaffolding a little bit too soon. I was like, why? What's the problem? He says because in the dormer, which is, let's face it, 3 stories high, there's an extractor fan vent that should have been put in after the renderer's finish. And yeah, it's not happened. So thanks. So we've got to try and figure out a plan of how the hell we're going to sort that out. So let's get the tester. Oof. I must admit, one thing I do love about this van, right, wherever it's gone, is actually the Bot Smart racking, the Bot Smart van racking. I've got to call it what it actually is, in fairness, because I'm an idiot and I just keep getting it all wrong. Now, with the van racking, well, it's been a little bit chaos because actually Jack put some stuff in here. Nothing to do with me passing the buck all the time. But in fairness, the van racking is so much better. As you saw earlier on, I had to change the plan of the day, and that being said, it meant that, you know, got a bit of armoured in the van, but I've got the spares to get the job sorted. Now, like on here, I'll give you a little example. When I had the van in the last van, I didn't really have it like this. I had a lot of the tools like here, and it just never really worked. So obviously this time there is a full video coming out on all the racking and stuff. It's coming at a later date. It's just that I've been so busy I haven't sorted it. But so this time round, like you can see, I've still got cellophane on some of them because I haven't completed it yet. So now I keep all my spares and everything here, all on these bits, which makes a massive, massive difference because now I know when I'm running low on stuff, and when I ask, you know, Jack or Clay or whoever to go and get anything out of the van if they don't mind, they can just go to it. Now, eventually, all these will all be labelled up of what everything is, like Wago boxes here, you know, we've got a few spurs here, we've got 1-gang sockets, 1-gang light switches, actual 6-inch pendants, patches all up here, you know, got some kinetic switches and stuff like that going on. It's just brilliant. So if you're thinking about having van racking, now this, believe it or not, this van racking is 3 years old, except for that new section just there, because we've had a long wheelbase one. So the only thing I had to change, because it's a long wheelbase, is I had to get that new frame, because obviously long wheelbase, I think it's 300mm longer than the short wheelbase. But I'm glad I did, really, really glad I did, because it's so much better having the long wheelbase. I always found that section just down there, that section just too tight, way too tight, and now it's actually comfortable. And as you've seen on, if you've subscribed to the channel before, and I hope you have, on that point, if you haven't, make sure you do. Links in the corner. It's completely free. It's just something, it's good, makes me feel good, in fairness, makes all the effort worthwhile. But quite often I'll sit in the van, if the weather's really bad, I'll sit in the van and I'll chat about whatever I'm doing, like with the parts while I'm making it. So yeah, so love the van, and Bot Smart van racking, go and check them out. Okay, so we are now, I've had a bit of a rugby incident. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit, you might have noticed, I'm walking a little bit funny. And let's just say the gentleman region took a bit of a hammering. That sounded weird. That did sound really weird, like there was some sort of weird incident in the showers that, you know, we can't talk about. No, in fairness, it was actually mid-tackle, a big fat 20+ stone bloke took a fancy to the gentleman region, and let's just say it's very uncomfortable on the old walking at the minute. So anyway, don't know why I'm telling you that, other than it hurts to sit down, it hurts to walk, every time it is hurting, and I wouldn't mind if it had made a difference, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, testing. So part of the testing, we got the dead tests of R1 plus R2. So essentially, if you don't know what that is, it is measuring the resistance of the cable. So you connect your live and your earth, and you measure that out. So the dead testing on the R1 plus R2 is 0.28, which is what I'd kind of expect, because it's only a small run. So we've got the installation resistance testing. So because it's a new installation, we'll be firing 500 volts down there, and it measures. So you're firing down voltage between the live conductors and the earth, and also the earth armouring. Now, what you should be expecting on a brand new installation is 999 mega ohms, which is what we've got. And then we're moving on to our live testing. Now, it's a pretty simple situation on here. So our live testing is our ZS, which obviously was measure the resistance into the cable. And obviously this is what you'll have your maximum permitted ZS values, which you'll have in your BS 7671 regulation guides. Bing! You'll put a little star here, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do now. Now we're using the... I need to actually make sure on the settings that we've got the right one, because if you don't have the right settings in on this X1, like for non-trip, it will trip it out, which is very, very annoying. So on here, there's quite a few different settings. You can have it for EV. So we will activate that, plus our test function, and we shall see what we get. And we have a ZS result. Here she comes. Is 0.42, and with my PFC is 0.55 kiloamps. Okay, so that's cool. We are good to go. We have well within our 20 amp circuit, and then obviously after that we have got our RCD testing that we can carry out here, or we can carry out at the board. Now, I have to be very careful because I don't want to make sure, well, I want to make sure that there's two things. Now, I can't really remember. So with it's had a new board in the house, and obviously I can't really remember what the installation coming in is right now, but that should be fired up by a MCB, because it's armoured out to the garage, because the garage board, as you've noticed, has got an RCD main switch. Now, the reason why you don't want to have an RCD at both ends, and the reason behind that is because if you are tripping out at this one, it can also trip out inside the house, which won't matter too much because you've got it's all RCBOs in there, I believe, except for some of the armouring. So like this one, I don't know whether you can see it, there's an armouring down here, and I know that goes down to the studio down there, and that is on an MCB, but I can't remember about this one. And the reason why you don't want them both on there, because if you imagine you're getting out, there's a thing called selectability basically, and you don't want to have that. Now, to get over it, you need to be fitting a time delayed RCD, which are mega money, and you don't want to do that. You don't need to do that in a domestic installation in theory. So I'll go and double check, because I know obviously the client's working from home as well, and just in case this is powered up from elsewhere, I do not want to go and upset the client, because he is a very, very busy guy, and upset clients means they don't pay. Because I am an absolute legend, and clearly I did my job properly at the onset. I've got an MCB at the main board. I should have really known, should never have doubted myself, but I wanted, for clarity, to go and check. So I've got an MCB for in there, and also out here. Which means that I'm going to do the RCD testing. It's not going to interfere with the main house, and we can find out whether that RCD is knackered together, because I doubt it, but you never know. So again, you need to make sure that you've got your RCD setting on the same time, because sometimes when I cycle through and put it on EV, don't know why, but on this X1 it sometimes changes the setting for the, rather than 30 milliamps, it changes it to 10 milliamps. No idea why, but we are all good to go. So she's now just tripped out at, see, just being completely transparent with you, 99.8 at 1 times its current rating. So let's go and reset it. Right. Oh, she's a good one. She'll drop down in a second. So that is at, I can't remember now whether it's at its 0 degree cycle or the 180, whichever way it is. We need to just double check which one it is and do the opposite one. So hopefully you can see this. So that is at the 180. So now it's on the 0 degrees. We'll go again. And we've got 98.7. So we're all good to go. So I just need to test the test button, which we'll go and do. So we'll reset it now. We can see clearly because the lights come on. And that is our RCD all sorted. Now, you can get these obviously to stick, but this one's not. So I just need to finish off the labelling up, put down obviously socket, and then that job is done. So obviously on that result, you need to put in your highest reading on there because that is what you need to do on your certification. So yeah, I should never have doubted myself, but that's what it is. So yeah, so RCD passed out and we are good to go. So that is our job all completed, done and dusted, and we are out of here. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, leave your comments below as usual, and we shall see you on the next one. And who knows what it could be. Right, see you later.